Hello, everyone. Welcome to Patriots III, Life, Liberty, Pursuit of Happiness. And here's your hosts, Tim and Firecracker, and our special guest, Pastor Jerry Cook.
Yes.
How y'all doing tonight?
Great. How are you?
Doing all right. Doing all right. So, Pastor Jerry, how you doing?
We're doubling up on you there, Tim.
I noticed.
Two Californians against a Missouri guy.
Hey, right. I'm a native Californian. So just a quick reminder for everyone, if you're seeing this, go ahead and give a like, share, and follow at Tim Holliday TV. So that's TimHolliday TV. So I'm going to blame this guy here, Pastor Jerry Cook. He was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for me to reboot this show.
Okay.
So we're in a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, some things were said, and we're like, well, how about I have you on my show, Jerry? And he says, sounds good. Let's do it. And well, here we are, the second show after a couple of months of being on a hiatus. We're back, and we're doing great.
Well, so, I'm glad to be on the flagship show right here.
So yeah, I blame it on Pastor Jerry. Where's my finger? There it is.
Yeah, it's all his fault.
So yeah, Jerry and myself, we have a conversation after his show, Politics in the Pulpit, every Wednesday, and every time he answers the phone, say it, Jerry, say it.
Holliday.
Yep.
Love that.
And it's not like I'm a fan of Madonna,
but you do sing. You do sing, right?
Of course I sing. I'm a Baptist preacher.
I love
Most Baptist preachers should sing. So
yeah, I love it. I did see that.
I've got a radio voice.
That was awesome. Yeah, you do. You have a great voice.
Oh, okay. So today we're going to be talking about California politics, our nation, and Pastor Jerry's show, Politics in the Pulpit. So Jerry, what's the latest and greatest going on there in California?
Well, I'm sure Firecracker could speak to this just as much as I could, but obviously the breaking news today is from Mark Moiser and the Dillon Law Group. They, of course, filed a brief against Prop 50 and against the map going into play by the end of 2026. I had Mark on my show last week. He spoke to this. I asked him off air, I said, Mark, do you really think this has a snowball's chance to actually get to the Supreme Court and be overturned? And Mark said to me, he said, and again, this is off the record, but again, here I am telling everybody, but Mark said, I would not have taken this if I didn't think this had a chance. And so today, the Department of Justice just joined into that lawsuit with the Dillon Law Group. So I think there are some legs here, and there is a possibility, I don't know how probable, but there is a possibility of Prop 50 being overturned if it gets past the California Supreme Court and gets into the hand of the federal Supreme Court.
So for our audience who doesn't know, Proposition 50 drew redistricting lines for the state of California. And an example right here of Northern California, this would be District 2, which just totally takes all of Northern California and basically gives it to Marin County and looks like even San Francisco, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, and it also underrepresents Republicans here in California.
Correct.
Because Californians voted for Donald Trump. 40% of California voted for Donald Trump in 2024, which is more than voted for him in 2020 and more than 2016. And then what happened in 2024 is several of our counties flipped from light blue to red, or some of the darker blues got lighter blue. And I really honestly think that Democrats panicked when they saw all these flip districts. So I think they used Texas as their pretext for why they wanted to go this route, or at least Gavin Newsom wanted to go this route of taking out a crayon box and redrawing lines for the benefit of the party in power, which of course is the Democrat Party. Now we currently have 9 seats that are Republicans. It's going to go down to 4 to 5 with the new lines if they go into place. But we pray and hope that Mark Moiser, the Dillon Group, and the Department of Justice will have the last say on this.
I hope so.
I hope so as
I
well.
really hope. Yeah. So on the seats that changed, it would be 5 seats that were taken away, something like that.
It'll be 4 to 5 seats, yeah. So we
Right.
would be left with either 4 to 5 Republicans as opposed to the
Right.
9 we currently have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely underrepresented for sure.
And speaking of seats, isn't Nancy Pelosi stepping down?
I don't know if she can step into anything at this point in her life.
Okay, is she stumbling down?
She's
So,
falling down.
yeah.
Let's get it right.
Yeah, she just announced that she's going to retire from her seat.
Right.
And a twofold child of the devil is going to run for her seat. And that, of course,
Lord.
is Representative Scott Wiener.
Now, here's a picture of
Oh,
Scott
God.
Wiener.
Look at that. Look at the abs on that guy.
Oh my
Ooh.
God.
No.
He looks like he looks like he's got it together, huh?
I'll
Now,
tell
would
you.
you want somebody like this around your kids?
I don't know. That is interesting.
Tim,
Very
you and I were
interesting.
talking off air earlier. I think American statesmen have slipped from the 17th, 18th, and 19th century. And if that is the representative of the statesmen of the 21st century,
We're in big trouble.
we are
Yeah.
in trouble.
Absolutely.
trouble.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny.
Wow.
There's nobody else in line. That's it, huh?
Well, we're going to probably think that Nancy Pelosi is a moderate compared to Scott Wiener. Scott Wiener is a debaucherous man. He has got ideas that would make most moderate Democrats cringe.
Right.
And so my only hope, well, here's the problem. Whether the new lines get put up or the old lines stay in place,
Right.
he's going to win that seat because Marin County is very blue.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is, San Francisco proper. And so
Right.
therefore, they're not just pro-gay, they're pro-trans, they're pro-polyamorous, they're pro whatever the new thing is. And
Yeah.
so Scott Wiener is quite
He's
literally,
interesting.
pardon the pun, on top of it all. So
Wow.
What is his background? Does he have any political background whatsoever?
well, yeah, he's the representative currently here in California.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, he represents the northern part of the state.
Oh.
And I've actually met him. I was up at the Capitol during the big protest for AB 495 a few months back.
Okay.
And we were going, myself and a gentleman by the name of Brock Campbell were walking door to door into the Congress congressional offices, and just trying to get people to say, hey, listen, we want you to vote no on AB 495. Unfortunately, we all know that's history now. AB 495 was passed, the governor signed it, and the rest is history.
So
That's
AB
everything.
495,
It seems like
was
that's
that the
always what
one?
happens.
AB 495, that's the one where you loosely related and you can take a child out of school. Is that correct?
All you need is an affidavit, and
that's scary.
again, there was a pretext for that too, and the pretext was, what if your parents are illegal immigrants and they get deported or they get picked up by ICE when the kid's in school? That was the pretext. So they had to wrap it with emotion, right? They needed you to sympathize and empathize with the story. And then once you empathize and sympathize, you don't think anymore. You just react based on feelings.
Right. That's what they're hoping.
Yeah, so they're going over feelings over facts, which is the opposite of what it should be.
And as Ben Shapiro so aptly has stated, my facts don't care about your feelings. So
yeah. We have a comment here. The machines must go, period. And that's from
I agree. I don't understand why everything else requires you to put your driver's license, your social security number, everything. You always have to prove your identity anywhere. So why wouldn't you have to just do that at the polls? I don't get that.
Right.
Why could you just drop off a ballot and they just think it's legit? Because I feel like there's no way possible that could have passed.
It depends on what state you're in, because we have voter ID over here.
We don't. We have nothing. anybody could walk in and drop off a ballot. You could drop off 100 ballots and nobody would care.
Yeah.
Which is pretty scary. Or you just don't get a ballot like us. Nobody
Right.
up here got a ballot. So they just forgot about our town, I guess, and figured they didn't need it. Or it's too red of a town and they didn't want to provide it.
Well,
I don't know.
You know, us folks that live in more rural areas,
Yes.
we tend to, you know, hang our American flags proudly,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, we do.
some of us display a Trump flag. Some
Right.
of us don't. But like where I live, there are a lot of American flags on flagpoles or on homes.
Right.
And but we all got a ballot up here. My friend next door to me, we were talking about Prop 50. He asked me for a no on Prop 50 sign about a week before the vote. And he's a Hollywood guy, by the way. I live in an
Really?
area where a lot of folks have retired from the industry who were, you know, maybe they were sound design or something like that. They weren't like
Yeah.
in front of the camera; they're behind the camera. And it's
Right.
amazing how many people in Hollywood that are behind the camera are actually quite conservative.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing.
Oh, and there's some people that are just straight out outspoken about it, not, you know, quiet.
Right.
Rob Schneider
right.
being one of them.
Right.
Yeah, Rob Schneider and John Voight, and
Yeah.
there's several others as well. The names escape me at the moment, but
Right.
what ends up happening is a lot of these guys get blacklisted, and
Right.
or they get relegated to B movie parts that are not going to, you know, they're going to go straight to streaming, and they're not,
Yeah.
you know, they're not going to have the big giant blockbuster opportunities that they had, you know, maybe 25 years ago.
Right. We were just talking about how Sylvester Stallone walked out of the Jimmy Kimmel show. Did you guys see that the other day?
No, I don't watch TV.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
well,
why
I
Tim is
do.
sane.
Yes. Got to keep
It
sanity
was pretty
somehow.
crazy. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's been around for a minute and he's not afraid to do what he wants to do. Right. So
Right.
he just didn't like where the conversation was going, and I apparently left the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was my
About-
Stallone. Sorry.
Well,
I like it.
speaking about leaving the show, I want to play a little video clip about somebody in Orange County who's running for governor in California.
Mm.
Oh gosh.
And tell me what you all think.
We've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And we're
Porter,
just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never had to do
reporter.
this before, ever.
You've never had to have a
end an
conversation
interview.
with
To end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of
Yes.
I'm me? I'm running for
Okay.
governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make.
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
Now, it's
Wow.
important to know that this viral...
If she
I'm gonna
is
let
funny.
I'm gonna let ladies first. I want Firecracker to say something, and then I'll give a few.
I'm at a loss, you guys. I'm literally at a loss. I can't even imagine. It's up to you, Pastor.
Well, all I can say is she seems like a politician that has been in a bubble, and some of the things that she was saying there, like, and I can't believe that I've have to have these follow-up questions. Everybody has a
Correct.
follow-up question, and you know that CBS reporter I thought was very fair. About 3 days later, I think CBS posted every interview they did with all the candidates and all
Right.
the questions. None of it was edited. And it was
It was
just
very
Katie
fair.
Porter that had the issue. And it's
Right.
because she is one of those, you know, as Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity say, these are limousine liberals that are drunk on their own power, and they are just absolutely offended that anybody would ever ask them a follow-up question, somehow insinuating that they may not know something. So
Right.
But that was just a one-on-one interview. How would she handle a press conference
or a debate?
Well, we know how she handles her aides. Do we have that, Tim?
Which one? Oh, yes, I do.
Her aide.
Yeah.
We might have to bleep something out, by the way. So
this is live. We're not bleeping.
Okay.
So we're not bleeping.
I'm on the oversight
let's show that.
You might know. And that is where we did a study recently this fall in September. And what it showed is if we don't electrify our transportation sector, that we're going to lose more than 500,000 Californians dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems. And the state could lose more. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually it's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't make the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot. Okay, I'm going to start again with electric vehicles saving us money.
So if you take a look, on the left-hand side, she's talking about electric vehicles, but on the left-hand side, that looks like a gas-burning range.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I wish we could get in closer to that, but it does look like a gas-burning. It does look like it's gas-burning.
Wow.
Stove.
Well, I like to see that she has so much patience with people, right? That's always a good thing.
And so that wasn't the first time in that interview. That wasn't the first time where she, went a little off on her.
She's crazy a little.
Yeah,
I think she's a bit crazy.
I think her husband, the ex-husband, who had the hot potatoes thrown over his head, that guy should get an award for having been with her for who knows how long it's been.
Yeah, I agree.
But he just recently came out and talked about that episode that happened to him, where she literally got angry, and dumped scalding hot potatoes onto his head in front of their kids, if I'm not mistaken.
Unbelievable.
And so it's very clear that she does not have control over her flesh.
Correct.
She is allowing her flesh to take over. And I can't even imagine this woman being the next governor of our state. But on the other hand, Prop 50 just won 2-1. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. I mean, I was just telling my congregation the other day in a sermon, we were talking about demons and how demons have an affinity for warm, wet places. And this is a New Testament thing. And I jokingly said, if you look at all the blue areas in California, they all touch water.
Right.
All the blue areas in California tend to be near the water, and they're warm. Yeah. I mean, California is known for a warm climate. Yeah. And so I think there's a lot of, in my opinion, I think there's a lot of demonic activity happening in California.
Oh my gosh, yes. That is some crazy stuff right there.
And if you show Scott Wiener again in those chaps,
yeah, he's not looking too bad.
There is no doubt in my mind that there's demonic activity going on in California.
But compared to her, he's not looking so bad. She's really crazy.
Well,
really crazy.
Oh man, thank you, Tim. That's all I need.
That is quite an outfit.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Well, thankfully he's not running. Thankfully, he's not running for governor. So.
Be careful what you say.
I don't know.
It's California,
Our election integrity has a lot to be desired. It concerns me, and I feel like if it's not going to be fair and honest and have some kind of credibility, what's the purpose of it? Because anybody's going to win, whoever they want, right? So we have to work on that, I think, first.
One of the go ahead. I think, Tim, we were talking earlier about polls.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just pulled one up right here. I don't know who paid for this poll, but Katie Porter is behind Steve Hilton. Steve Hilton is 1 point ahead. It's 19 and then 18%.
Are you kidding me?
And then Chad Bianco is third.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
hey, can you imagine
This is
going
crazy.
into the November of 2026 with actually 2 Republicans on top of the ticket? I don't think that'll happen, but wouldn't it be a great dream to have,
It would
to be able to vote for 2
Yeah, that'd be
Republicans
awesome.
on the top?
That'd be amazing.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
Absolutely.
Again,
for California,
I don't think that's going to manifest itself, but it would be great. That's a great pipe
No.
dream.
but I mean, but for all the people that are running, who's going to bring the Constitution back? You know, not just our
Right.
nation's Constitution, but also the state Constitution as well. You know,
Yeah.
who's going to
Right.
bring that back? And so, I asked the audience there in California, think about that when you
Yeah.
researching these candidates. Who's going to
Right.
bring our constitutions back?
Well, we've passed stuff that hasn't even been implemented because they didn't have funds to do it. I can't even think it. There's been a ton of different bills that were passed and they just pushed them aside because they didn't have funding. So stuff like that. Go on, Pastor. I know you got something for me.
Well, I don't have anything. I was actually just kissing my wife as she walked by right now. I think she's about to leave the house. So I've spoken to both Chad Bianco. We've had him at a meet and greet. Chad is a great guy. Obviously represents Riverside well as sheriff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The strike against him is whether or not he took a knee to the whole BLM thing back in 2020. He's got a story for that. I don't know how much of it I believe, but that's the strike against him. And then
Right.
Steve Hilton he calls himself a conservative populist. So he is not going to be where I would like him to be on moral issues.
Right.
But, California is already, down the flusher when it comes to a lot of moral issues anyway.
Right.
So obviously, in my estimation, I don't mind Steve Hilton. I don't mind Chad Bianco.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot better than our current governor. And
Right.
But the thing about our current governor is he's real smarmy. He's real slimy. He's really adept at just talking, and he can lie so well. And so I just think that there isn't any. People fall for that. They fall for that line.
It's unfortunate.
And I'm not trying to be
They do.
disrespectful here, Firecracker, but a lot of women, Democratic women,
I know.
they just woo over him. And
I don't get
it. It's the Kennedy factor, right?
Maybe, but he doesn't really have it if you ask me, but
Not
I'm just
everyone
one
can
person.
look like me and Tim.
Right?
I know you guys are sexy as hell. Like, look at you guys. You guys are hot.
Yeah.
You guys should be running.
Well,
So what's going on with Gavin's little dance that he does? I can't even mimic it.
So I think Gavin's got everyone's got a tick. I mean, all of us here have a tick. I don't know what mine is. What my wife likes to say, sometimes I say folks a lot when I'm preaching. And she has said to me that you say folks a lot, or look up here. And those are little ticks that I put in a sermon to kind of as a filler. Well, we all do that, right? Some of us do nonverbal pauses like, and it's because we don't have a filler. Gavin has this hand thing going on where it's part of his gimmick. It's part of his ruse. I don't know.
I don't even think he's Italian.
It's very distracting, right?
It is.
Maybe
it's
that's
smoke
what it
and
is.
mirrors. It's like a magician.
Correct.
It's like,
Oh,
look
yes,
over
yes.
here while I do this.
The sleight of
Right.
hand, yes.
Right. Why I stab you in the back. Look this way. Yeah, I get you. Speaking of that, what about the money that they had raised, the fundraiser for the fires in Palos Verdes?
Oh,
Not Palos, the Palisades.
Palisades, yes.
Right. So apparently some of the funds got diverted to LLC that is ran by the Newsom people. I don't know. That's what I've been told. Have you guys heard that?
I haven't heard a whole bunch. I know that there's a guy, and I think I'm getting his name right, Spencer Pratt.
Yep.
That's right.
Who is on top of this like flies on poop.
Yeah.
And he is just going on about this. I would just say, follow what Spencer's saying on X
Right.
and see what he has to say. But as well as I do, and even you there and Tim in Missouri, they're not going to build in the Palisades like they did before.
No.
They have got something up their
Plan.
sleeve
Yep.
for that
They got a
area,
plan.
and it's not going to look like domesticated homes as it has for the last 50 plus years.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But I mean, they raised millions. I mean, was it 500 million? How much did they raise?
It was a whole bunch of money.
Yeah.
I don't know
and
exactly
it all
know
disappeared.
how much, but it was
it all
well,
disappeared.
if you remember, there was a concert, right?
Yeah, correct.
Where all
correct.
these pop artists and R&B artists sang.
Right.
It was kind of like, Live Aid 1985 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they raised multi-millions of dollars. And yes, a lot of it was diverted to, NGOs and all that kind of stuff.
Right. So that's what I think Spencer Pratt has came out about, because he said that the people that really truly need the money are not getting a penny. They diverted it to LLCs that are supposed to give it to the people, which nobody's gotten any of it yet. So, I mean, if you look at stuff like that, I think the ethical part of that is obviously nobody cares. They're just leaving them there. They're just leaving them
when
out,
you're a one-party state, firecracker, who's going to look into it?
That's what happens?
Yeah.
Is that what happens?
When you're a one-party state and you're the party that's, diverting the money, why are you going to tell on yourself?
Yeah. Right. Nobody's going to do that.
No.
Just like the recall election right there. Yep. Same thing. There's something going on. Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah.
I just
it would have been great to see. It would have been great to this would have been, well, let's see here. No. If Larry Elder would have won that, he would have finished out Gavin's initial term, and then he would have to run. And who knows, maybe he would have won a second term, a full first term, if you will. But those were the days.
I know.
What's new out there, Tim, in Missouri?
Right. Let's talk about Missouri.
I mean, you guys keep on talking about you're bad mouthing California. What's going on over there in Missouri?
Well, we all know that Josh Howley is a really good person to represent our wonderful state here.
I love his hair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gas prices. Gas prices are what, $2.65 a gallon here. How
we talked about that. What are you paying, Pastor?
Well, I don't think, considering where I found out where you live, I don't think it's any different from where I live and where you live. But right now, I've got two gas stations just down the street from me, and one is $4.65 for 87. The other is $4.99 for 87. And if you go down into the valley, you can find gas for over $5 a gallon. So
yeah, it was $5.20 when I stopped to get gas on my way home. It was $5.20.
Yeah,
which is quite a bit.
And so, and Tim, the reason why that is the reason for Firecracker and myself here, and you're paying $2.70, is because we just had a refinery close, and then Valero, of course, soon. And then Valero is about to pull up stakes the end of next year, and there's also refinery maintenance going on concurrently as that one refinery closed. So all of that was a perfect storm, and here we are with gas prices that went up, 30 cents in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just.
Plus, they keep saying we voted for a gas tax increase, but I don't remember ever voting for one.
Well, unfortunately, because we're a one-party state, we always tend to vote against our own self-best interests. And we're the only people that will vote for a tax that will hit us right in the pocketbook. I don't know why, but we do it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. We just like inflation, apparently.
Are the people really representing, or are these state legislation? Are they really representing Californians, or are they representing themselves? Because we go to these hearings and we speak, but they don't table the items, to take a good think about what was just said by the public.
Right.
And they just go ahead and do a vote, and it just goes right through. And I call that a rubber stamp committee. And I've seen it. I've been on, actually not a I was probably the thorn in the rubber stamp committee when I was on a board of trustees at a community college. What year is this? Near 20 years ago.
Right.
I was the one saying no when everyone else was saying yes, and vice versa. And it was just, it was a lot.
I'll give you a perfect example. A few minutes ago, I mentioned I was up in Sacramento during that whole AB 495 rally,
right?
Where Jack Hibbs from Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, was up there, myself and several other pastors, and there were probably, I'd say, between 2,000 and 3,500 people standing in the yard of the state capitol.
That's awesome.
And we had several Republican legislatures that came and spoke, and validated to the crowd that they're going to vote no on AB 495 and all that.
Right.
But we already knew that Representative Shannon Grove was going to vote no, and we already knew some of these other conservatives that are rock ribbed were going to vote no. But I thought personally that having such a huge representation of the people of California there in Sacramento on that day would have given the legislatures a bit of pause.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, they don't care.
Because it got tabled. They put it in a file. It's called a suspension file.
Yeah.
So
The
when they
circular
saw
file.
all the people out there, they put the bill in a suspension file, which basically means it's tabled until the heat dies down. Right. When all the heat's down, then in the dark of night in a smoky room, they break out that bill again, and then they pass it, and then they give it to Gavin Newsom, and he signs it.
Right.
So
or unless they say, "Hey, look, squirrel," bring out the bill.
Yeah.
Push it
That's
through.
exactly it. That's exactly
smoke and mirrors.
Yep.
That's all,
and
all it is.
unfortunately, I don't know about you, Firecracker, but I was born and raised here in California, and
Me too.
And okay, so we're both native Californians. We love this state. You live in a place. I live in a place that we like in terms of the aesthetics, right? I was just up on Tuesday for Veterans Day. My family and I drove up to just south of Mammoth, and we were fishing at a place called Rock Creek Lake, and caught a few fish, by the way. But you get up there to the 395 and go north of Bishop, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how anybody.
June Lake Loop area.
Well,
there,
if you went up another 35 minutes, you'd be up at June Lake, and all that. But I was just a little south of that. But it's so gorgeous up there, and
it is.
My wife and I were just kind of saying it's just too bad the Democrats have control of all this.
Yes, it is.
I'm a native of California as well, so don't count me out, you Southern California people. I'm a native of Northern California.
But you escaped.
Oh yes, escaped from.
He was fortunate enough to get out. He got out while the getting was
good. Actually,
good.
Today marks the 2-year anniversary to date when I took the journey to escape again.
Wow, you were smart. Yes. We've all thought about it.
I mean, what drove me away is the cost of living, or what the cost in general. And that goes along with the gas prices, because gas delivers everything, or petroleum, I should say. Everything being delivered to the grocery stores, to your Uber drivers and DoorDashes and whatnot, Amazon and so on and so forth. The politics are just terrible there. I promised myself, if the Recall Gavin 2020 efforts did not succeed, we've got it on the ballot. And I was, the state admin assistant during that movement. If it didn't succeed, if Gavin Newsom was still governor, in other words, I'd be leaving. It took me a little longer than expected, but I had to tie up some loose ends, so I got all that squared away, and I ended up leaving as I promised myself. I didn't make some crazy announcement like, "Hey, I'm going to Canada if so and so gets elected."
Right, like some of these people did.
Yeah. So it's I'm still supporting and fighting for California remotely the best that I can.
So are we.
And you guys are in the thick. You guys are in the thick of it, and I pray for y'all on a regular. Wow, it's tough. I've been there.
I think you need to I think you need to fast and pray for us out here.
Correct.
Because
We need it. We need
the
it.
battle is not just physical. I always like to remind my people that the battle is spiritual.
Yes.
And
Correct.
it's spiritual wickedness in high places.
Mhm.
And if anybody thinks that the devil is not in the details when it comes to politics in either party,
he's
frankly,
there.
then
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to somebody like that who doesn't
Right.
believe in that, because there's just so much money to be made. There's so much to be pocketed behind the scenes. In fact, news broke yesterday of a former Gavin advisor who was laundering money or doing something. I think something to the tune of $250,000 was, siphoned away into some account of theirs. And she's going to end up being in prison if it all sticks, something like 35, 40 years in prison, which is basically the rest of her life, because she's in her mid-50s. So, I mean, and I haven't heard anything from Gavin Newsom on this. This was someone that worked closely with him.
Yeah.
But again, this is a one-party state. I mean, Firecracker knows this.
There's no transparency anywhere.
Yeah, before Gavin, we had Jerry Brown. And the only Republican we've had this century is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he wasn't all that great.
Nope.
And didn't we have him twice?
Yeah.
Well, he actually did better in his first term.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened. He just felt like he needed to go full-blown moderate in his second term. And I'm thinking, why? Yeah. If you're going to be the moderate, be the moderate during your first term, so you can win that second term. Now you're a lame duck. Now you can be who you want to be.
Right.
So I don't understand why he went the way he went. But think about it, Tim.
Yeah,
we're now in the 25th year of the 21st century.
Right.
And California has only had one Republican governor in that 25 years.
That's pathetic.
And the last decent governor that I remember was Duke Majan. That's the last decent one.
Yeah,
we had Duke Majan in the 80s, and then followed by Pete Wilson, who wasn't all that bad either.
No.
But Duke Majan, Pete Wilson, and I know this is hard for someone like Firecracker and myself to swallow, but this is the state that gave us Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Right.
Ronald Reagan was governor here in the 1960s. This is the Reagan Library is here to my southwest in Simi Valley. Yeah. So there's a lot of good Republican roots here. The problem is they've been kind of uprooted, and the Democrats are like crabgrass, and they just keep growing everywhere.
Right. Gosh, I don't get it.
Well, when it comes to voting, the Christian votes.
We know
what you mean that way.
The evangelical vote.
That's the one.
We knew what you meant, Tim.
Untying the tongue there. Yeah. So how many Christian voters actually get out there and vote?
Well, it's
according to
I was kind of hoping you didn't ask me this one, because so many Christian individuals sit elections out, and usually they're in. And it runs the gambit between conservative type churches and then more progressive churches. Now, the progressive churches are going to go out and vote, because the progressive churches are not theologically sound, and they just go out and vote because they think that Jesus taught socialism and all that kind of stuff. And so, unfortunately, now if California evangelicals were represented by Freedom's Way Baptist Church, which is the church that I pastor, then I think the representation would be far greater. But not every pastor has the balls to just get up there and preach the truth and let the chips fall where they may, and just be biblically truthful with the people of God, and just tell them, get out there and vote. And so, and by the way, there's a couple in my congregation that don't, vote the way I do, but my encouragement to people is just get out there and vote. Even if I don't completely agree with your vote, you have a privilege to do something. You have a privilege, and you need to go do it.
Yeah, I agree.
But you're right, Tim. there's a large swath of the Christian evangelical community that sits in their pew and doesn't do a thing. And that is unfortunate. And so we need more pastors like Jack Hibbs and Rob McCoy's and even guys like myself, if I can just kind of, pat myself on the shoulder there.
Yes, we do need.
But yeah, we just need those guys. But unfortunately, guys like us are few and far between. And the more passive pastors are more representative of evangelical Christianity.
Yeah, so I'm wheelchair bound, and I ride my wheelchair to the polling place. I don't do the mail-in ballot thing. I'm qualified for that. Before all the mail-in ballots, is just available for those who are disabled, but now it's available for everyone. So what's everyone's excuse for not voting? I don't get it.
I don't know. They're making it difficult in California. Like, you have to go to a specific location based on your address. So like, let's say you work 100 miles the opposite direction, you can only go to that polling place that is, within whatever distance from your house, let's say. Yeah. So I think that is a big reason, or a big factor, why people aren't voting in person, because of that. And I mean, for us, when you live in a small town, it's hard to get to that location, because we are on the border of LA County and San Bernardino County. Our voting location is in LA County, which is going to be like an hour and 45-minute drive to the closest one over the mountain. But if you go into town, it's like 5 minutes the opposite way for San Bernardino County. So, but they won't let us vote there in person. We're not allowed to. Is that not strange? I don't get it.
Welcome to California.
I know. Now go home, right? That's what they say. That's why everybody has left here. Everybody I know has left to Arizona, Utah, Tennessee. I mean, we do real estate. Everybody has left. Everybody's packed up and got out of Dodge because the cost of living, everything.
Now, so, Firecracker, you mentioned, let me just quickly muse on this point, if I could, Tim.
Yes.
You mentioned that you were in real estate.
Right.
Do you see the housing market here in California cooling off, or do you see it continually ascending?
No, it's cooled off quite a bit, but everybody I know that has sold has moved out of state. Nobody has stayed in state, which is very unusual for this time. I mean, my parents are both brokers, so they've been in real estate for about 40 years, and they've owned their own offices. And in the past, when somebody sold their house, they might move from, let's say, LA County area to San Bernardino County. But now they don't do that anymore. Now it's, I'm selling and I'm going to Utah or Arizona or Tennessee, or a state that has, a lower cost of living. And it's not even just older people, it's younger people too. They all just want to get out of here. So I know Utah seemed to be a really big one recently that we've had a lot of people go to. And the price of real estate is ridiculous. I mean, compared to other places, you're talking probably twice as much as Utah for the same size home. I would say twice as much money. And Utah is not too bad. The areas are pretty good. They have everything they need. The infrastructure's there, they have churches, they have schools, they have everything they need to survive. But it's just unfortunate that, like, our family, a lot of our family has had to move to Arizona because that's the only place they could afford to live.
Yeah.
And I know my nieces that went to college in Arizona, they stayed there because they said that's the only place they could afford to live. That's it. Nowhere else. Here, it would be way too expensive to ever buy a house.
And how's the crime there in California? Are deodorants still locked up and, things like that?
That's a whole nother story right there, right?
Well, that was, one of the other driving points, to chase me away. The infrastructure, as you just mentioned, the major infrastructures, which is, transportation.
They have it set up there.
I want to say fuel because, gas and electric. Let's see here, water. So, three of those, they do not meet the criteria there in California, and they're trying to push electric cars, and they don't have the power grid to, make that work. It's like, turn off your electricity or unplug your car so you can run your air conditioner.
Right.
It don't make sense.
Well, the other problem too is whenever we get a really big Santa Ana wind here in Southern California, sometimes they're gonna, especially if you live out in the rural areas like I do and like Firecracker does, they will sometimes just shut off your power.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
unless
For
you've got
days.
a generator, unless you've got a generator, you don't have any power.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I remember 3 years ago, we had our power shut off for about 3 days.
Yep,
And that
us
was
too.
was the straw that finally broke the camel's back for us to go get
A
a
generator.
generator. And
Yeah.
now we don't care. We got a generator that basically powers 3/4 of our home
Right.
whenever
That's
the
what you have
power
to
shut
have.
off. But it is
Mhm.
inconvenient. You
Yeah.
have
It
on the
is.
one hand
It is.
politicians saying, we want to go full electrical, but on the other hand,
Yeah.
they turn off your electricity. How do you
Right.
charge
Right.
your Tesla or your electric
Yeah.
vehicle when you don't have a
Right.
power grid?
Right.
Correct. And
Well, it
your
was about
power,
3
your
years ago.
electricity bill is going to go up.
It was about
Right?
3
Yeah.
years ago in San Francisco. There, some famous band was, putting a concert on, in San Francisco while everyone
Mhm.
else had lights out. They were powering the whole concert, but everybody else, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, usually it's
we've
inconvenient.
we've basically turned into a high-end third world country.
Right. Yeah.
Catch it? A high-end third world
Yeah.
country. Because
It's
obviously,
ridiculous.
the way I'm looking at it, just to kind of wrap this up here about California, because we keep
Yeah.
the state here, is the way I'm looking at it in 25 years from now, and I pray and hope that I'm wrong about my assessment, but my thinking is the way the politics is going is that you have to either be really rich to live here,
Right.
or
Right.
you're going to be really poor, but you're subsidized in order to live here.
Right. It's going to be one or the other.
And so the middle class that the Democratic Party always says that they represent, they're squeezing us out.
Yeah.
And you have to be either really wealthy or you're going to be poor and subsidized. And that's
Right.
going to be really and any middle class people that are here, they're going to be kind of like the guys living out in the middle of nowhere, off grid. And they're
Yeah.
probably, they're looked at as, loony bins because they're off grid.
Right.
So
Right.
Well, the reason we keep going back to California is,
because it's screwed up, Tim. That's why.
Well, no,
Yeah,
it's about
it needs
15
fixing. Tim, fix us.
15 or 20 years ago. Let me get to my point here. There's 3 states that mainly ran the entire country, and that was Florida, New York, and California. Now,
Right.
Florida's gone off and done their own thing. Thank you, Ron DeSantis, and some of the state legislation there. So now it's New York and California, and I'll call New Jersey a half because they do hold a little bit of a stronghold there. But we keep going back to California because this wonderful saying is, if California goes, so does the nation. So we got to keep, keep California in line.
Yeah. But we need our pastors to tell us, to guide us to where we need to go. That's important, right?
Absolutely.
Well, it is. Plus everyone needs to just, have their own trust in Christ and read their Bible and have some convictions. And I'm just a steward, really. But to go back to the New York, New Jersey thing, if we do this show a year from now, I wonder if we'll even add New York in there, considering they've made the mistake of voting for Mamdani in New York City. And so, and the only reason why he's not a socialist is because they put that word Democrat there to make it kind of sound good. So you kind of feel good about, he's a Democratic socialist. Okay, I guess we can go with that. And so in a year from now, I wonder if we'll even be talking about New York in the same way that we would California and others.
I don't think so.
No,
I really don't.
So Pastor Jerry, tell us a little bit more about Politics in the Pulpit. You are the host on that show.
Yeah, so it's a weekly show that I do live in studio at KHTS hometown station in Newhall, California, which is right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. And Jerry and Carl Goldman are the owners of the station. They've been very gracious with me. It's a combination of religion, biblical Christianity, not just religion in general, but biblical Christianity, and politics. I don't think that you can divorce the two. When we're talking about abortion, when we're talking about trans, when we're talking about gay marriage or redefining marriage, The government has stepped into our territory. And so therefore, we as pastors, evangelical Bible-believing preachers, need to preach and teach what the biblical order is. So when the government steps in on listen, as a Baptist, I've always believed in separation of church and state. All of a sudden, the government didn't believe that during COVID, because during COVID, they told us what to do. What happened to separation of church and state? They want it to go one way, not the other way. But yeah, it's hosted. I hosted every Wednesday from 2 to 3 o'clock. And I didn't do it yesterday, but we're going to go back live next Wednesday. And but my greatest joy, Tim, if I might say, is pastoring Freedom's Way Baptist Church here in Santa Clarita. This coming March will be my 24th anniversary there. I have the privilege of starting at 24 years. I know you guys are all thinking, you look so young. I know.
You are. You do look so young.
So 24 years ago, my wife and I started the church. No kids at the time. Now we got 3 kids, 19, 14, and 10. And we have a beautiful home. God's blessed us greatly. And over the course of time, we've had connections with guys like Tim Holliday.
Yes. Wait, you got to sing it.
Holliday.
Jerry.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, we don't we don't want Madonna coming after Tim Holliday TV.
Oh my gosh, I know.
No, definitely not.
We're gonna get sued. Yeah, I've listened to your sermon. I think it was last week or the week before, but I think I'm gonna make it out to your church because you're close to me. You're not that far at all.
It's further than you think, because I'm in the city of Castaic, which is just 10 minutes north of Magic Mountain.
Okay,
and so
not too bad.
Yeah, but I've had, all I can say is this: I've got folks that come down from Tehachapi, Palmdale, down in the San Fernando Valley, and of course we have locals that come as well. So anyone's welcome to come. Even Tim, who listens in occasionally.
I was there 3 years ago on Christmas Eve.
Jump on a plane, Tim. Jump on a plane. Come on.
I'm
leaving on a jet plane.
Wait, Tim still has to finish mowing his lawn. He can't go nowhere yet.
Right. I got some things I got to tie up before I even make a visit to California. So I'm still patiently waiting on getting those things tied up.
He's got loose ends right now.
Yes,
for sure. I love it though.
It's better than loose screws. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. We all have those, I guess. Just a little.
So, anything further to add before we wrap up?
Well, it's a privilege to meet you, Firecracker, even though it's just over a screen here. And as we talked before we went live, it's nice to know that there's another person of like interest just over the hill.
Yeah, so, not too far away.
I would just encourage you to stand strong where you are and be a voice of sanity and common sense. And you as well, Tim, out there in Missouri, even though I know it's a red state, but there are parts of your state that are blue. So
I know.
So do your best to turn those lighter blue and maybe a little bit red. And if folks are listening out there, if I could just say this last thing, find a good, solid Bible-believing church wherever you are. If you can find a pastor that has some guts to preach the Bible without apology, attend there, be faithful, and turn your state around via Christ. And so I appreciate the opportunity, Tim, to come on today and talk with you and Firecracker.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We definitely appreciate
nice
it.
To meet you. Yeah.
And Firecracker is definitely a fan because I actually text her personally directly your show, Politics in the Pulpit. So
I like the singing. I like the singing at your church. I was watching it earlier at work, and I was like, "Gosh, I love this. We're singing over here. We don't do that anymore over here.
We're a little traditional at our church. We still sing some old hymns." But
we used to do that. Yeah,
we sing some hymns and some of the modern stuff, but it's got to be really theologically accurate for us to sing. So we want to make sure we do everything biblical. So but anyway, and if anybody wants to visit our church, they can check us out at freedomswaybaptistchurch.org.
Yep.
Let me
Check
find
it out
that.
online too, because they're amazing.
There it is. It's up on screen right now.
Yep.
And
I love it.
definitely listen to Pastor Jerry's show called Politics in the Pulpit. You could find it on Rumble. It's there on screen.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Getting fancy on you, Pastor Jerry.
Ooh.
And so
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Somebody's dog is mad right now.
My dog is harassing my other dog.
Oh, fun.
So when we're done here, I'm gonna go beat one of my dogs. But
he didn't say that out loud, did he?
No.
Well, it's a figure of speech, right?
It is. I'm gonna get the dog away from the other dog. So.
Okay.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching.
Thank
Patriots
you.
III, Life, Liberty, Pursuit of Happiness. Be sure to join every Thursday in the latter part of the day. I try to be flexible with the guests. Next week, we're going to be on at, I believe, 5 o'clock Pacific. So next week on Thursday, 5 o'clock Pacific.
Perfect.
So tune in next week, and we will see you then.
Okay.
Take care, guys.
Bye.